everybody, my name is Mars. You can call me May or MG if you would like, and this is a very odd filming setup. I've already filmed a video today. I filmed my regular TBR game video, and if you saw that, Chloe was an absolute menace, and right now she's over on the other side of the room napping in my chair, and I'm like, you know what? I still want to film my other video for this week. I'll just do it in bed, and this is the setup I figured out. Ignore the giant stack of books, we'll get there. Yeah, so this is my Orilium TBR for April 2023. If you didn't know, Orilium is the name of the Magical Readathon hosted by G over at Book Roast. I will link her channel down below. She's got a whole playlist of Orilium videos and like a catch-up kind of thing in case you missed the first couple of rounds. So many videos, so many resources. If you want to join in, it's like she's got you covered. Basically, it's a magical school kind of setup where you take classes to fulfill different callings or careers or whatever you want to call them. And I've got big ambitions for this year. So basically, my character, whose name is Berenice, if I can find the picture of her that I have, I'll put it up. If not, she's got purple skin and really long hair. She's pretty cute. Last year, she was a moon warden, and I kind of want to do that calling again, but I also kind of like a couple of other ones. They are the Story Weaver and Star Whisperer. I really like both of those, so we're gonna do some funny business here. So basically, there are 16 different classes, and therefore 16 different prompts this April, and for the Moon Warden, I would have to complete 5 of those classes or 5 of those prompts, and then when the second semester happens in August, it's a little bit different. I'm not going to get into that here. Then I'm gonna focus on those, like, first 5. Oh, and Chloe has woken up and she's heading over here, of course. Basically, I'm going to put a book for every single prompt, and I'm going to have the main 5 for the Moon Warden that I'm going to focus on, and then I'm gonna have ones that would fulfill the other 2 callings that I really like all those other classes would be my like secondary things. Like if I finish those first 5, when I finish those first 5, I hope I'll go to those ones, and then all of the other ones are going to be, if I still have time at the end of the month, I might as well fill more prompts. So hopefully that makes sense. Chloe is here to be a nuisance again, of course. I have my computer over here, that's why I keep looking at it, and it has all of the things listed, like all the classes with the prompts and which calling they fulfill and what book I've chosen. So we are just gonna get into it, and I'm gonna tell you these in the order that I plan on reading them. So we're gonna start with the 5 books that fulfill the 5 prompts for the Moon Warden calling. Alright, the very first book I plan on reading is for the astronomy class. The prompt is 2 E's in the title, so I have, oh, I hope this stack doesn't fall, The Battle for Scandia, which is the 4th book in the Ranger's Apprentice series. I don't have the dust jacket for it. Let's see, it's gonna be backwards to you, but there's an E in the and an E in battle. 2 E's fits the prompt. I have been reading one Ranger's Apprentice book each month for this year so far, and so we're just gonna continue on with that. Then for elemental studies, the prompt is flowers on the cover, and I have gone with a manga, and we have volume 12 of The Girl from the Other Side. This isn't an actual, like, volume, like the story concluded with volume 11, and so this is like little short stories, I guess, or the manga equivalent of short stories that take place in the same world with the same characters. So I adore this series. I love it so much and am very excited to get to these. Next up, for Art of Illusion, the prompt is to match your clothes to the book you're reading, and so I could have picked any book and just matched my clothes to it. I chose to pick a book that matches my wardrobe the most. So we have the first of many thick books, Delicious Monsters by Lizelle Sambury. So if you can see, it's like mostly green and some light blue. We got some yellowish gold up here, and then the back is very, very green and black. And so most of my wardrobe is green and black. I do have a little bit of light blue though, and I do have a little bit of yellow. So my plan is that every day that it takes me to read this, to match my outfit to this book, Hopefully it doesn't take me too long to read so I don't have to come up with a million different outfits that fit this color scheme, but I'm very excited to get to this. I have heard nothing but fantastic things about it, and it sounds so good. So this is the third book I'll be reading. Then for spells and incantations, the prompt is to read a book between, we get the numbers right, 389 and 415 pages. So for that, I will be reading Vespertine by Margaret Rogerson, and technically this book is 387 pages, but there are 2 pages of, is it like a glossary or something? Hold on. There are 2 pages of, it's just like, it says the hierarchy of spirits, and so it just has like explanations, and it's not part of the story, but it's also not like the acknowledgements or something, so I'm counting it and saying that it fits the page range, so that's what I'll be reading for that prompt. So the 5th and final mandatory prompt that I'm doing is for restoration, and the prompt is technically to do a blind shuffle pick. What I'm going to do is a little bit different, just to make it easier on myself. So I have picked 4 books, and I'm going to roll a d4 to decide which of those 4 I'm reading. So it still kind of fits the prompt, I just tweaked it a little bit. So that's what these next 4 on the stack are. So if I roll a 1, I will read Permanent Record by Mary H.K. Choi. If I roll a 2, I will read Before She Ignites by Jodi Meadows. If I roll a 3, I will read The Smoke Thieves by Sally Green. And if I roll a 4, I will read Enchantée by Gita Trelease. These are like the 4 books I feel like have been on my TBR, not quite the longest, but for a long time, and so I figured they were good to bundle together. So I hope you can't hear the sirens going on in the back. This is just going to be a mess of a video, but when are my videos not a mess? I'm going to just Google roll a d4 because I put my dice away from my TBR game, which also uses a d4, so great. I'm just going to Google it, and you're not going to be able to see it because my computer's over here, but I'll tell you what I get, and you'll just have to trust me. Why would I lie? Okay, so I rolled a 1, which means I will be reading Permanent Record by Mary H.K. Choi. I am nervous but excited to read this. It's contemporary, and I don't read that much contemporary, but this will be the 5th book that I read next month. Okay, I'm just gonna cut in here real quick. It is maybe half an hour after I filmed that video. Immediately after filming, I went to go watch Pages with Pages' Orilium TBR video, and was reminded that I had agreed to do a buddy read with her, so good job me for forgetting that. The book that we're gonna buddy read is The Scapegracers, and I don't own this physically. I will be reading it on Scribd, and so I decided to try and fit it into my Orilium TBR. So instead of the, what was it, Permanent Record, I was like, okay, I'm gonna roll a d4 again. If I get a 1 or a 3, I'm gonna switch to The Scapegracers, and if I get a 2 or a 4, I will stick with Permanent Record, and I'll just have another book in there that isn't part of the TBR that I'm gonna read anyway. Luckily I got a 1. Here, I can show you. Goodness, can you see? I don't know if you actually got that. This is the worst clip I've ever filmed. So yeah, we're gonna switch out Permanent Record for The Scapegracers. Everything else is still the same. We're gonna cut to the video I just filmed again. So there are 3 prompts that I would like to get to give me more options in my calling. They will cover all of the gaps in those 2 other callings that I was interested in, and then when August comes I can decide which one I actually want to pursue in the 2nd semester. And so the first one for that is lore, and the prompt is a book that has a map. So I will be reading The Wizards of Once by Cressida Cowell. Map. Oh, Chloe is trying to get in because I kicked her out before. It's fine. First of all, it has these pictures. Then it also has a map, and it just looks so cool. I'm very excited to get to this. Then for psionics and divination, the prompt is a cloud or cloud-like image on the cover, and I have Roar by Court Carmack. So as you can see, it's a very stormy cover. The main character has storm magic, I think. I don't know too much about this book beyond that, but I'm looking forward to hopefully getting to it next month. Fingers crossed. And then for inscription, the prompt is to read a book from the top shelf of your bookcase. Now I have 2 bookcases, and on one, the top shelf is all my Rick Riordan books, which I've read all of them, and the other top shelf is my completed series, which is series that I own all the books in, and there's only one series that I haven't read on there, and it is Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. So I will be reading, for this prompt, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. I love, love, love the movie of this, and so I'm very much looking forward to reading the book. I'm excited. So now we come to the 6 classes that I don't have to take for any of these callings, but if I have time at the end of the month, I might as well keep going with these same prompts. The first of which is alchemy, and the prompt is to read a book that has a metal in the title, and I don't physically own it, but I would be going with Iron Wolf by Siri Petterson. This is the first book in her new series, and I cannot wait to get my hands on it. I've gone to like 4 different bookstores over the past month since it released to try and buy this book, and so they've all said they've had it like online, and they just didn't have it. Either they like just sold the only copy they had, or it was still in the back and they haven't put it on the floor so they can't sell it to me yet. Hopefully I'm gonna get my hands on it soon, because I just really, really, really want to read this book. I love Siri Petterson's works. For demonology, the prompt is a book that's often compared to a favorite, and I didn't really know how to go about doing this, because I haven't really heard a lot of books compared to my favorites, but I am going to put in this spot My Last Duchess and Other Poems by Robert Browning. I have read a couple of Robert Browning poems, like My Last Duchess and Porphyria's Lover, and I love both of them, but I haven't read much of his, and I do love a lot of other poets that are in the same vein as this, so I'm counting it for this prompt, and it's very small, and also I need to read a poetry book to complete my own reading challenge for the month, so hopefully I can fit this in. For animal studies, the prompt is to flip a coin, and if it lands on heads, you have to read a nonfiction, and if it lands on tails, you read a fiction book. And so, once again, I'm just going to Google it, because I don't have a coin, and even if I did, I'm not very good at flipping coins. So if it lands on heads, I'm going to read Crying at H Mart by Michelle Zauner, I think it might be pronounced. If it lands on tails, I'll read The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle. So I will be right back after Googling that. Okay, so it landed on heads, which means I'll be reading Crying at H Mart. I don't read a lot of nonfiction, and I especially don't read a lot of memoirs, but I am really, really excited to read this. So this person, Michelle Zauner, she is the front person of Japanese Breakfast, who I really like. I listen to their music, not a lot, but like, I like them. And H Mart is like a local Philly thing, and if you didn't know, I live near Philly, and Michelle Zauner's from Philly, and so I'm really hoping for that kind of thing, because obviously growing up there affected her, and she's going to talk about it in her memoir. So I'm just really, really excited to read this, even if it's not typically something that I go for. The last 3 prompts I'm actually going to talk about all in one. So we have Conjuration, which is a friend rec, Shape-shifting, which is a wolf on the cover or in the title or in the author's name, and then Artificery, which is read a book with a snack. And for those, I am putting in an entire trilogy of books. This is the Grey Griffins trilogy. So for Conjuration, a friend rec, we'll go with book 1, The Revenge of the Shadow King, which is, I'm counting as a friend rec because this is one of my boyfriend's favorite books when he was a kid, this series, and he's been like, yeah, I think you'd like it, so I'm counting it. And then book 2 is The Rise of the Black Wolf, so it has wolf in the title, and there's a wolf on the cover, a very menacing looking wolf, so that would work for shapeshifting. And then The Fall of the Templars, book 3, this is also a very menacing creature, and so really read a book with a snack. I could read any book and just eat a snack, but I figured if I'm putting these 2 books tentatively on my TBR, might as well put the 3rd one, so it's fine. So yeah, those are the last 3 books that I could potentially get to in April if I read all of the other ones, because these would be the last of the reading. So earlier I think I said there were 16 prompts, there's only 14. So here we have, you can only see the top 5, but this is my big stack of 13 books because I don't own Iron Wolf yet. I'm just now realizing that has a wolf in the title and could have worked for shapeshifting, but I think I don't have any other books with a metal in the title, so I would slot it there anyway. You can only see the top 5, which is fine because these are the 5 that I'm prioritizing. So yeah, I got some crazy reading plans for April. let me know down in the comments if you are participating in Orilium and which prompts you're hoping to fulfill, which calling you want to go for. I'm very curious. I've been obsessed with watching people's Orilium TBRs because hearing about these people's characters is just so fun and interesting, and I can't wait. I will be vlogging my experience, so I haven't decided if I'm gonna like split it up and do like the first 2 weeks in one vlog and then the next 2 weeks in the other, or if I'll do one big vlog. We'll see when we get there. Stay tuned if that's something you're interested in watching. Now, finally come to the end of this video, so if you enjoyed it, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up. You can subscribe to my channel for more content, and that way I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye, guys.